Here's my Harbor Freight haul for the day. I had a coupon expiring today for the Maddox 11-piece disc brake pad and caliper service toolkit. So this is the tool that helps you retract caliper pistons back inside the caliper when you put thicker new pads on. Now I've always gotten by in the past using a C-clamp and just trying to work something out to force them back in, but some calipers do require you to twist the piston back in, and I've been able to get that to work before with needle nose pliers and kind of gripping the piston and twisting it. But there's been at least a couple times where I couldn't make that work, and I've had to run to AutoZone to try and rent the tool to make it work. The deal of the day for the Days of Deals coupons that Harbor Freight had was 35% off Apex and Badlands winch accessories. So I got a 12,000 pound hook to put on my winch. I'll explain a little bit more of that in a minute. And then this was kind of an impulse buy, but this is a brake pad lining gauge, or color-coded green, yellow, red. You know, I've always just kind of waited for the wear bar to start making contact and making them squeak real bad, or just look at them, I'll visually inspect them, try and measure something with some calipers or something, and be like, they're probably all right. So this just gives me a little more consistent and objective way. And then for the last couple of days, they've also had free gift giveaway. So they had possibilities of Hercules branded impact adapters that go into an impact driver, so you can put sockets on it. They also had ratchet straps, and then they had a moving blanket. My Harbor Freight was only giving away the moving blanket. It looked like they were out of all of the other gifts. This I'm sure I'll use around the house for, you know, drop cloths or something whenever I got painting or other construction to do inside the house. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about the winch hook, because I'm going to be putting that on here soon. So the winch that I have is an older Badlands winch. This was a 9,500 pound winch, probably 10 years old now, but when I put it onto the Tacoma, I did upgrade the steel wire that came on the winch to a synthetic cable. Now, one of the things with a synthetic cable is that UV rays can cause it to degrade and make it be weaker. So with the steel cable, I would have a foot or two of steel cable, and I would just hook the hook to a D-ring or one of the recovery points, and the cable would just be dangling around. But you don't want a synthetic line exposed to sunlight and UV rays. So you want some type of flush fitting fair lead or adapter or hook on the end of this. And so I originally got this, call it big bulky D-ring adapter that goes on here. So I liked this originally because then it fit D-rings. I've since been using kind of soft shackles for recovery points. But the big thing with this is this sticks down quite a bit. So there's been numerous times when off-roading and trying to, you know, use my approach angle to get up a rock face, and I'll end up banging that pretty good. You can see it's got some chip marks in there from where it's been hit. So I wanted to get a hook that I could hook onto the end of it, but then also retract the rope all the way in and get it to sit flat and flush on this fair lead. So to remove this adapter, first I just released the clutch on the winch so I could pull it out a little bit. And it's got this pin, and it's got an internal snap ring. So I'm just going to use some snap ring pliers like this, take this out. Snap ring comes out. A little tap with the dead blow hammer was able to get this pin unfrozen. And now I've got that removed. I'm going to throw that away, not going to use that anymore, but you can see it's just got a steel eyelet on there, so let's put the hook on. So the Apex Badlands winch just has a pin with a little cotter pin on the end. So I don't think it matters which way you orient it, but I will go ahead and just orient it that way, because you got to choose one way or the other, so we'll go with that. It is kind of annoying that the cotter pin comes slightly peeled apart like that, so I might need some pliers to get it back through the hole, but we'll keep going. Got my Doyle needle nose pliers, also from Harbor Freight. Grab the ends of this cotter pin and just bend it way back so that way it stays secure. Now I'm just going to go ahead and draw the winch in. Now, one thing I will acknowledge is that it is not completely covered up all of the rope, so there is a bit of the rope here that could potentially degrade. I feel comfortable with it compared to this style. This one sit completely flush, and the actual synthetic rope was completely encased inside the fair lead. But considering that this gets banged all the time on rock ledges and gets in the way, I'm willing to give this a try for how infrequently I actually use my winch. So that was what I decided to do.